Hi everyone, this reaction was prioritised by Jen. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really does go a long way to keeping this channel going. Jen has requested a song called Breakdown by Vinjay. This is my first time hearing anything by Vinjay, so I have absolutely no idea what to expect.
Mess, trying to numb my pain, battling the demons in my mind all day. Either I'm fucked up or I'm insane. Hey, living like a mess, trying to...
Right, so let's just straight in there, you know, that's horrendous. I know people do this, but this looks like an absolutely horrendous way to go. It's almost like you're also punishing yourself at the same time. Not only have you decided to end it, but you've decided to do it in what must be an agonizing way to go. You know, and there is, I don't want to get too kind of technical with this, but there is research that tells us that men tend to choose more violent ways compared to women. And the reason for that is, you know, multifaceted. But if I was ever somehow in a situation where I would consider this as an option, it wouldn't be this way. And I've got some of the words here. So the words that we're playing at the same time as this are living like a mess, trying to numb my pain, battling the demons in my mind all day. Now, when people think they have tried everything possible and the pain is still relentlessly there, you can see how someone could turn to this as an option. You know, it makes sense. Okay, let's not talk too much.
Battling the demons in my mind all day. Either I'm fucked up or I'm insane. Hey, living like a mess, trying to numb my pain. Battling the demons in my mind all day. Either I'm fucked up or I'm insane. Let's flash back to a moment in time.
And just to touch on that chorus, I mean, it's really catchy, isn't it? You know, it could be a pop song. You could imagine like kids enjoying that melody. So now I'm caught between vibing with the melody, which is really catchy and quite upbeat, and listening to these painful lyrics, watching this painful video. What a juxtaposition, I think is the word.
Battling the demons in my mind all day. Either I'm fucked up or I'm insane. Let's flash back to a moment in time when I was just a troubled youth trying to cope with his mind, with psychedelics, cocaine, and some smoke on the side. When I was broken, overdosed, and was hoping to die. Yeah, I guess the damage of feeling fucking abandoned left me torn, so I was slamming like every drug I was handed. I managed till I ran out, then ravaged through my dad's house, gather all my shit so I could sell it for a bag now. I couldn't tell that I was losing myself, and that the drugs only added to confusion I felt. And when the homies hit me up, I was refusing to help, cause I was busy trying to make a fucking noose with a belt. But I was lonely and sick of feeling depressed. I was running out of options and ways to cope with the stress. I thought I'd feel bliss when the reaper came to collect, cause I'm done with the pain, I'd rather hang to my death than say, hey, living like a mess, trying to numb my pain, battling the demons in my mind all day.
Okay, so I do have some of the words available. If I can, I'll put them on the screen somewhere so you can tell which bits I'm talking about without me having all of the words out. But to give a bit of a summary here, he had difficulties coping with his mind as a youth. And I see that quite often in people, you know, especially in kind of youths, teens, adolescents. And I think part of the reason for this is that we simply don't talk much about it in education. You know, we don't talk about your own relationship with your thoughts, you know, with your self-talk in your mind. You know, your mind is it's the thing that you are with all of the time. It's the first thing you hear in the morning. It's the last thing that you hear at night. And it's really, really important to develop a healthy relationship with it, because it's not always kind. And it's not supposed to be kind all the time. You know, it's supposed to look out for threats and bring your attention to those threats. You know, it's trying to keep you safe. That is its job. So Vijay here is saying that he dealt with what his mind was presenting him. He dealt with that by taking drugs, you know, a common tactic. You know, there's a mention of being abandoned in the lyrics. And that was his coping strategy until that coping strategy wasn't available, until the things that he was taking ran out and he couldn't get them. You know, so he starts trying to sell a load of his dad's stuff to get more. Like, imagine once you get through this, all of the guilt of some of the things that you might have done then remain. You know, I can't tell by this, not yet anyway, like what his relationship with his dad was like and what were the kind of things was he selling. You know, was he selling things like a TV, or was he selling things that were kind of more sentimental and really valued to his dad? You know, I get the sense that he was selling these things purely to get money, to get access to things that will help him with the pain. But we don't know how important those things were to his dad and whether those are things that could be replaced. So when Vijay makes it out the other end of this, how's he going to feel about how he has behaved? He doesn't realise he has lost himself. You know, he isn't accepting of help. He doesn't have the coping strategy he had before. And his problem-solving mind goes, here's one way you can get out of all of this pain. This will certainly end it for you and you won't have to experience it again. In fact, you'll never have to experience any of this pain ever again. You can see how this becomes an option.
Came to collect, cause I'm done with the pain. I'd rather hang to my death than say, hey, living like a mess, trying to numb my pain. Battling the demons in my mind all day. Either I'm fucked up or I'm insane. Have a drink, don't break down. Hey, living like a mess, trying to numb my pain. Battling the demons in my mind all day. Either I'm fucked up or I'm insane. Have a drink, don't break down. I never thought that my life would end when I'm 17. Now I'm writing notes to my family, I thought I'd never leave. But all this pain I've been feeling, it's time to set it free. Time to turn this torturous life of mine to a severed dream. I waited till it was late and family was sleeping. Was thinking about death, I wasn't thinking about them grieving. I thought that when they read the note they'd understand my reason. So I crept downstairs, time to finally conquer my demons. I grabbed a booze plus a bottle of pills. Ran them back up to my room, feeling hollow with chills. Wasn't nervous, I was ready, I was confident still. Poured a dozen in my palm and started popping to kill. Yeah, I'm finally doing it, time to call in the eulogist. I got what I deserved, I took my life and I ruined it. 30 minutes later my feelings started to fade. Went from falling out of love to falling into my grave. I'm getting woozy and passing out in my bed. I was fading in and out, a few moments away from death. But something in my stomach was traveling up my chest. I just fell to the floor and started puking up red. And now the medicine is covering my hands, they were drenched in it. This is not the way that it was planned. I crawled to my bed, I was barely able to stand. This is not what I intended, I got myself in a jam. I fucked up, I was broken and weak. I never wanted to die, I wanted a moment of peace. Felt my heart skip a beat when I woke from my sleep the next day and saw the suicide note in my feet and thought, hey, living like a mess, trying to numb my pain, battling.
Right, before this chorus plays out, let's take a quick look at this previous verse, because I think he explained quite a few things there in terms of what I picked up. So he's 17 years old. And again, we are looking at trying to get away from the pain. And there's two lines, I think, that really stood out. So the first one is, I thought that when they read the note, they would understand my reasons. And that might make a lot of sense to someone feeling the intensity of the pain that they were. But to someone who hasn't, then I don't think it is going to make sense. People will always think that there were other options available to that person. especially if that person hasn't approached the person they left the note to for help. That's always going to be a question in their mind. Why didn't they come to me? Was I not there? Did I somehow not make myself available or approachable for them? Did I do something wrong? Was I part of the reason? And that's tough. That is so tough for the people who've been left behind. And I understand that people who go through this aren't always kind of thinking straight. They are just so full of their own pain that their focus is on getting rid of that. So I say that because I don't want to think what I said was kind of blaming in some way. It's not. I'm just talking about the impact it has on others. And the other line, I think I said there were two lines. The other line was, yeah, I'm finally doing it. Time to call in the uologist. I got what I deserved. And that really stands out to me. That's really interesting. Before, it's been about the pain. We don't know exactly what is causing that pain, but there was a pain there that they couldn't get rid of, and it was persistent enough that they thought they only had one option. But this line, why I got what I deserved. I got what I deserved. No one deserves to feel like that. No one deserves to be doing these things to try and end their pain. It's the word deserves. Maybe I'm using the word incorrectly, or maybe I'm interpreting the word incorrectly. Maybe I use it differently to this. But to me, it implies that it is something that they should be doing, that this thing should have happened to them. They deserve for it to happen. That doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't sit well with me at all. I don't think anyone should be thinking that they deserve this, because they don't. And then look, there's another line here that I can see, I never wanted to die. I wanted a moment of peace. That's it, isn't it? That is it. That's the reason. I just want some respite from the pain. That's why alcohol and drugs are so effective. In those moments, it takes you away from the pain. And it takes you away from that, in that moment of experiencing so much and wanting to ending it. It only works in the short term, doesn't it? It doesn't work in the longer term. That's not because in the longer term, the consequences of the alcohol and drugs start to bring more pain with it. And then you just end up in that cycle, and that's the only way you know how to cope. And when that coping strategy is taken away, you end up selling your dad's stuff. And you feel guilty. And then how do you deal with feeling guilty? So you can see how these can become kind of vicious cycles. Okay, I think it's verse 2.
To my bed, I was barely able to stand. This is not what I intended. I got myself in a jam. I fucked up, I was broken and weak. I never wanted to die, I wanted a moment of peace. Felt my heart skip a beat when I woke from my sleep the next day and saw the suicide note in my feed and thought, hey, living like a mess, trying to numb my pain, battling the demons in my mind all day. Either I'm fucked up.
Oh, look at that connection. It's co-regulating. Oh no, he's not co-regulating. Is he unconscious? Is he trying to actually physically save him? No, they're soothing, self-soothing and trying to co-regulate. It was a bit dark on there, I couldn't properly see. Oh man, I mean, that's painful to watch. I'm sure this is going to resonate with a lot of people on this channel. you know, when you start looking at the numbers, the stats, and I'm not trying to say that, you know, people are stats, but I just want to get the gravity of this across, you know. I think it's 1 in 5 will have thoughts about this. Depending on what you read, this is kind of generally what I've read quite recently, I think. And 1 in 15, 1-5, will make an attempt. And that's really shocking, isn't it? That to me seems really high. And to geek out a little bit here in terms of how we read research and how we understand research, you know, is that those numbers don't include people who are in hospital. They don't include people who are homeless. They don't include people who are in like temporary accommodation or emergency accommodation. It doesn't include people in prisons. Those are the ones I can think of. I remember thinking kind of how alarming this was when I read the stats a while ago. There's probably more, but that's a lot of vulnerable people missed out in those numbers. So the numbers are actually probably far higher than what we actually think they are. And strangely enough, because, well, not strangely, but, and what happens is because of things like poverty and wealth inequality, those are the people who need the most help. And those are the people who it is the most inaccessible to. Those are the people who professionals sometimes will say they're not therapy ready or they're not engaging. And what that means is they have difficulty attending appointments or going to a clinic, or they have difficulty trusting therapists and professionals. I say professionals as in social workers, nurses, therapists, you know, kind of healthcare professionals. And then they get discharged because of that. I read a paper quite recently, and it was about hard to reach adolescents. And one of the taglines in the paper was, are they hard to reach or are they easy to ignore? And that really made me think, easy to ignore. Because, you know, I don't know, it's depressing to think about. If you do feel this way, if anyone watching this kind of feels this way or having these thoughts and think they might act on them, please reach out. That could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a GP. I don't know what the equivalent is to GP in America or elsewhere in the world. It could be using a helpline. Just reach out to someone. It's such a hard step, but please, you are already in so much pain. Just take that step and reach out. Let's just see if there is another option before you take this one. I don't think I have much more to say on this. I hope I have come across quite sensitive in this. I'm always a bit apprehensive when I watch my video back to see how I came across and how I phrase things and what I said. I hope you like this one. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.